many of you, there was the added excitement of moving to the Bay Area. And then COVID came to the US. So as we sheltered in place, clinical placements closed, many of you moved back home and your homes became your classroom. So I was impressed with your flexibility and determination to continue towards your goal of becoming an RN. As we pivoted to remote learning, information from health officials changed daily, and the number of COVID cases and COVID deaths climbed. But despite the challenges of being a nursing student during the pandemic, you demonstrated remarkable resilience. Your dedication, professionalism, and commitment to learning is truly admirable. I'm confident that you will be equally successful in meeting the challenges of joining the nursing profession during the continuing uncertainty around the COVID mutations. So welcome today. I'm proud to welcome all of you here to celebrate this really momentous time. And now I'm going to introduce Dr. Daphne Stanley as our MSN keynote speaker.
Welcome, honored guests, friends, and family members. A warm welcome also to my esteemed colleagues at the San Francisco State University School of Nursing. And most importantly, welcome, graduates. You are graduating at a most interesting time in modern history. For one thing, we don't usually talk through masks when we're delivering speeches, and I keep talking that. I'm going to do my best here. Allow me to put this moment in context and describe what I think are the four most important issues to consider. I call them the four greats, and not to be confused with the four horsemen of the apocalypse. First, we're living through a pandemic. Yes, the not-so-friendly coronavirus, officially named SARS-CoV-2, but sometimes shortened to COVID-19, is still out there circulating in our neighborhoods and communities, causing death and long-term disability for far too many. And as many of you know, the disproportionate number of fatalities due to COVID-19 in people of color point to the inequity, systemic racism, and lack of access to basic rights such as health care, adequate education, social services, and jobs and goods that lead to healthier lives and better outcomes. But as a society, we are also experiencing upheaval and questioning. I think it's too soon to say if this will become the Great Awakening that leads to radical change, reparations, and full equity in our communities, workplaces, and institutions. But spreading awareness of these long-standing pernicious issues is an important first step. Second, I'm a little short of breath from these masks. Second, you are entering the workplace when clinicians are experiencing collective grief and burnout, and healthcare in general is under enormous stress. Much has been said about the Great Resignation, but it is true that in the healthcare sector, many clinicians nearing retirement have opted to leave the workforce early. Since healthcare is filled with boomers, early retirement is leaving many areas short-staffed and ill-prepared for coming surges and the delayed healthcare that many Americans have already started seeking. Third, you are leaving San Francisco State University with a degree that is not valued by all sectors of society. Not that long ago, a college degree, an advanced professional degree, such as a Master of Science in Nursing, were revered and respected. This is still the case in many quarters. Look around you. But it is also true that we are living in a time of hyperpolitics and a peculiar brand of populism, leading to a disquieting erosion of the value of expertise, science, and fact. I call this the Great Erosion. But as a new RN, you are entering a profession viewed by US adults as the most highly ranked profession for honesty and ethics again in 2021. Why is that? Because nurses and you are altruistic and caring. This pandemic is considered by many thinkers to be a nursing event. This means that nurses were most impactful of all professions in determining a change in the person's health status who was infected with COVID-19. As a nursing sensitive indicator of sorts, care for COVID-19 positive patients, especially when critically ill, fell to nursing. Yes, we proved over the last few years that nursing is indeed essential, not expendable nor invisible, and a profession that cares for all patients, families, and communities. You have already demonstrated this compassionate care during your clinical rotations, and we know that you are a vital force in the Great Awakening. by denying exclusion of any type. Practicing nurses and you are smart and advocate for patients, families, and other healthcare workers. Yes, this is an odd time to join the workforce, but you are needed more today than ever. Bay Area RNs have the highest salaries in the world. So while the work is hard, the rewards are beyond great. They are, as the commercial says, priceless. While the great resignation may be happening as we speak, we know that you are there to care for those in need, and we are thankful. This means that we might be able to retire someday. And nurses today, and you, know that knowledge is power, and as such, we know that you will fully use your bully pulpit to educate friends, family, administrators, and others about science, expertise, and facts. You are armed with current knowledge, have the skills to critically think and appraise the best evidence, and we know that you are ready to fight the great erosion. We appreciate that this journey has been long, arduous, and has required great sacrifice by you and others who made this academic achievement possible. Please take a moment to reflect and appreciate those whose shoulders you stand, on whose shoulders you stand, those who protected you, paved the way for you, and supported you through this program, and helped you become who you are today. But wait, what's the fourth grade? I only mentioned three. I haven't forgotten. We are here today to celebrate this important milestone and to recognize you, all of you who collectively make up the fourth grade, the great class of 2021. We are very proud of you and look forward to following your careers and watching your spheres of influence grow. Here's to the fourth grade, the class of 2021. Congratulations. And now I'd like to introduce Lauren Gorman, who's going to speak on the significance of the hood.
On behalf of the faculty and staff of the School of Nursing at San Francisco State University, it is my honor and privilege to speak to you all today in recognition of our graduate nursing students. Our graduate students here today have completed an accelerated entry-level Master's of Science in Nursing and have satisfied the requirements necessary to become clinical nurse specialists. In addition to completing course requirements, graduate students are required to complete a written culminating experience, a document which exemplifies the knowledge and education of a master's prepared advanced practice nurse. Each of the graduate students has worked closely with a faculty member who mentored them through this process. I would like to take a moment to honor the tradition of talking about the origins and significance of the academic regalia and graduate hood worn by our graduates today. Universities are the heirs for traditions which go back 8 centuries. The diversified and often colorful academic robes worn by today's graduates, as well as those who take part in the academic procession, are part of those traditions. Much like our ceremony today, academic regalia has been modified over the years and has acquired a special significance which is reflected by the graduation attire worn by scholars and professors to this day. For universities in the English-speaking world, there are 3 parts that make up the academic regalia: the gown, the hood, and the cap. The gown was the loose outer garment common to both lawyers and university professors. For many universities, the cut of the gown sleeve indicate whether the wearer holds a bachelor or a master's degree. The master's hood is a modern interpretation of the hooded robes worn by medieval monks who taught in the early universities. The monks would use their hoods to keep warm in the winter and also to collect alms. It is often said that the long tail of the hood provided a pocket hanging down the back in which students could drop the appropriate fee for teaching, without the teacher seeing how much or how little was being paid. I'm sure many students wish tuition could be that simple nowadays. The hood worn by our graduate students today is meant to be purely ornamental. It is typically 3.5 feet long and features a 3-inch velvet trim that indicates the graduate's academic discipline. The discipline of nursing is designated by an apricot-colored velvet trim. The lining of the hood indicates the university which presents the candidate for graduation, which for San Francisco State University is purple and gold. It is the honor of the professor who worked with the graduate student on their culminating experience to hood them today as we celebrate their achievements. Thank you, and I would like to introduce the MSN class speaker, Paige Plaska.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming today to support us and to celebrate this glorious occasion. We're so happy you're all here. It's such an honor to stand up here and to share the stories of our experiences the last 2 years. Before writing this speech, I asked my classmates to write down a word that describes how they're feeling about graduation. They said ecstatic, relieved, extra flexible, free, proud, accomplished, and ready to move on. For us being here today, it feels like a giant relief. I thought I'd start by taking us down memory lane. We began nursing school in January 2020, each of us simply just so elated to be there and ready to start learning. About 4 weeks later, we started discussing this new virus called COVID-19 in our community health class that we thought maybe would blow over. And 1 week after that, we were officially faced with a global pandemic that persisted for the duration of our time in nursing school. As I'm sure you've all heard from us the last 2 years, this transition and curveball was not an easy adjustment. I'll be blunt and just say a lot of F words were used, but not the one you were thinking of. Our F word is different. We were flexible and resilient as we morphed and adjusted to the new norm we'd experienced. We injected fruit and hot dogs. We practiced trait care on cardboard patients, and we became very skilled at telehealth assessments. The point is, students and professors made it work. We truly moved through this program as a unit. We have advocated for one another constantly, and not an ounce of competitive behavior got in the way of making sure that each and every one of us succeeded and finished together. Thanks. We built relationships outside of school and have stayed in constant contact virtually, updating each other in real time about important life events such as babies, marriages, losses, and triumphs. Our cohort are aunts and uncles to 4 sweet babies born during our program and 1 on the way. The individuals graduating today from the Alma class of 2021 are the most selfless, driven, brilliant group of people I have ever had the honor of knowing. Through the intense fear of the unknown we all felt during the pandemic, worrying about the well-being of ourselves, our loved ones, and our communities, the students before you helped combat the virus by testing, vaccinating, and educating in real time. We didn't let the unbearable anxiety of change get us down, and we persisted by continuing our studies and worked to achieve our goals. When I began nursing school, I loved when I heard a professor describe nursing as the science of caring. I knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be, in a school, an occupation, a passion that promotes evidence-based information and empathy. I've always been driven by the work of Paul Farmer, who wrote, "For me, an area of moral clarity is you're in front of someone who is suffering and you have the tools at your disposal to alleviate that suffering or even eradicate it, and you act." So now, on the tails of 2020, the year of the nurse, we made it to 2021, where we are about to enter a field full of so much possibility and opportunity to make a difference in the communities we serve with the new toolboxes we've acquired. The next step we'll take as new grad nurses will come with its own challenges, but if we've learned anything over the last 2 years, it's that we can do hard things. Finally, thank you to the School of Nursing's faculty for helping us achieve our dreams of becoming nurses as spectacular as you all are. To our family and friends, thank you again for supporting all of us every step of the way. We can't wait to make you all proud. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce Barry Kuhn, who is our BSN keynote speaker.
Greetings to the San Francisco State Nursing Class of 2021, to your friends and families, fellow faculty, and everyone else who's here to support this phenomenal group of nursing students we have today. My name is Barry Kuhn, and I'm a 1999 graduate of the SoN program here, Go Gators. And I had the privilege of teaching a large portion of this group in their second semester in reproductive health. Penny Day is finally here, and the faculty and I cannot be more proud of you. I'm also honored you chose me to speak on your behalf. As you know, Sarasota State has an extremely competitive nursing program, and I was literally blown away by this group. You all came into the program with such amazing backgrounds and interesting things going on in your lives. You had previous careers or academic degrees. Your impressive and varied work experience or volunteer experiences. Some of you raised kids, cared for sick family members, and even patients yourselves. You were ADNs, EMTs, CNAs, and more. You're just such an amazing, impressive, and versatile group. You've been advocates for the underserved and marginalized. You speak many languages. You're smart, hardworking, thoughtful, experienced, empathetic, and supportive. It might have been just a little bit intimidating to some of your instructors. And you're also resilient. I know you've heard the word before, but you truly are. You started nursing school at the beginning of the pandemic, and it looked completely different than what you ever could have imagined or planned for. We asked you to pivot almost daily. You almost had to pivot this week when we thought we might go virtual. Pivot is a word I'm sure you never want to hear again. But you were resilient. You quickly began expanding your vocabulary with words like frontline worker, N95, and pandemic. Soon you were explaining complex topics like herd immunity, flattening the curve, and mRNA to your friends and family who looked at you for answers and information and guidance. You were still resilient. And despite the uncertainty and unknown risks of COVID, you did everything you could to interact with actual patients and families, not just cardboard ones or virtual ones. And you, as your classes continued on Zoom, you did things like volunteering at vaccination sites, jumped at a chance to get clinical hours, and experience with real people. You were working, caring for your families, and a few of you even came to my class with children in your lap. The stress, worry, fear, and anxiety you were feeling from nursing school, plus COVID, plus your own lives was obvious to your faculty. And for my students specifically, I'm pretty certain when you realized you had to be on Zoom with me for an hour in small groups of 10, you were horrified. You had to be participative, pre-prepared, and be awake. But still you were resilient, and you helped your classmates keep up with changes and information that was frequently changing using text, Google spreadsheets. Links were sent between all of you for resources and classes you could take to make sure you had your hours. You checked in on your classmates to make sure they were okay, and you even sent me a care basket. You were so overwhelmingly supportive of each other, it was impressive. Remember, nursing is a profession where we take care of others. It's likely one of the reasons many of you became nurses. And you might not have known it at the time, but everything you've been doing for the past year has been 2 years has been honing and perfecting very important nursing skills with everything you were doing. You were adding to your nursing tool belt. It might have been a little light when you started, but as you progressed through the program here, you constantly added to it. You read, wrote care plans, assessed people, gave meds, studied, took extra classes, online workshop certifications, and I hear you're even practicing on each other. One more thing you can add to your nursing tool belt is surviving nursing school during COVID. I hope you continue to add to your tool belt throughout the years you are a nurse and you continue on this path that you started such a short time ago. It may have felt long to you, but it really wasn't that long ago. San Francisco State nursing education will take you a long way in many interesting and different directions, and I look forward to running into you in the future to see what problems you'll solve, programs you will create, or things you might invent to help others. On behalf of the faculty, I'd like to tell each and every one of you how impressed we are with you, with what you have accomplished, and of all your hard work and sacrifice. Now go, take on the world, and make it a better place. Congratulations. I'd like to introduce one of the BSN class speakers, Priscilla Genitali, who will be speaking on behalf of Katarina Stein, who's not here.
Hello, fellow graduates, family, friends, faculty, and staff. I am so grateful to be here with you all today. On this day, we can finally let out a resounding sigh of relief. We overcame countless obstacles to arrive here today, and it wasn't by luck. but through skill, determination, and a passion for nursing. We started at College of San Mateo with our associate's degree in nursing. And after applying and waiting with bated breath, we celebrated when we were offered one of the limited seats available in the concurrent ADN to BSN Bridge program here at San Francisco State University. Nursing school is a formidable undertaking, and adding a second degree on top of it was no easy task. However, none of us did it alone. Our classmates, professors, family, and friends were there to support us. I would like to thank our professors and the staff at San Francisco for all the guidance along the way, including Dr. Rebecca Kiribes, Professor Vitali, Dr. Elaine Musselman, Catherine Midland, Dr. Kara Kulik, Professor Colleen Vega, and Dr. Nancy Rivera Hancock. We can't thank you enough for your dedication to our education and growth as professional RNs. Congratulations, class of 2021. We did it. Next, we will hear from Daniel Hall, a graduate from the CCSF ADN to BSN program.
All right, we made it. So thanks for this opportunity and also the chance to finally use my public speaking skills from so many semesters ago. I'd like to acknowledge all of the support that it took for us to succeed and arrive here. Thank you. None of what we've accomplished would have been possible without a community of family, friends, classmates, and educators. And thank you to all those of you who put on this event. It means so much that we can celebrate together. So, how do you sum up what was some of the toughest, most challenging, and yet joyous and transformative times in our lives? I know I'm not alone in coming to nursing looking for purpose and meaning. And I'm also not alone in finding these concepts to be a little more elusive than I thought. There were times when I wondered if I really wanted to be a nurse. And other times I wondered if nursing school really wanted me to be a nurse. But we made it. My friend likes to say that life is about how you pivot, how you take a challenging situation, get the most out of it, and move forward without looking back. When I think about a situation that required some serious pivoting, I think of all of the educators who believed so much in us and had to adjust from a classroom full of nervous energy to a screen full of blank stares. It's not ideal. But none of us shied away from our task. Our goal was clear, and we stayed the course. All of the little moments of joy and connection that kept us and our teachers going are the same moments that we will learn to rely on as we get comfortable and settle into our profession. So what did I learn in nursing school, amongst other things? Be kind, especially to yourself. Find what brings you joy, pursue it endlessly. Don't forget the community that brought you here, and remember to pivot and keep moving forward because there's more good stuff on the road ahead. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce Mario Casillas, who is a BSN candidate from the Sunset State.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mario Casillas, and I'm part of the BSN graduates. And I'm honored to stand before you today because now I can personally thank all of you. But before we get into that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. You see, I grew up a fatherless child in a poor area of San Francisco. Life was a struggle, and I always felt I was born into a storm that would never end. When I was 19, my older brother, who was the only father that I ever knew, was murdered in a random act of violence. In 2015, when my family was kicked out of our lifelong home of San Francisco, victims of gentrification. All of this tragedy can cause someone to develop a negative outlook on life. But I have come to realize in my time with you all that this pain that I've carried with me my entire life is not unique. Everyone in this room has suffered and sacrificed to get to this day. And only by working together and applying our collective efforts can we have overcome our struggles. As the old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. I could never have escaped the fate of dying in the same gutter that I was born in without the help of all of you. You see, through different degrees of separation, everyone in this room and watching at home has contributed to our success. And all of you are every bit as responsible for this achievement as we are. So, to all the family and friends who directly or indirectly affected the course of our lives, thank you. We couldn't have done it without you. We did it. To the staff and faculty, to the staff and faculty, you went above and beyond during such a hectic time to ensure that we received a quality education. And in that act, you taught us two important lessons about nursing that we can never have learned from a 1,000-page book or an acronym or a mnemonic. You taught us how to adapt when things fall apart. And you showed us what the compassion of a nurse really looks like. These are skills that cannot be explained in literature or discussed in lecture. These are skills that must be conveyed by the heart. And with every interaction we have with our patients in the future, we will hear your voices whispering in our ear, telling us to overcome and be kind. We did it. To my fellow graduates, where do I even start? I really enjoyed our spirited Slack conversations, our great memes, our creative mnemonics like cats. To this day, I don't even know what that means. However, I think the most important takeaway from our experience together is when all of that was expected of us was to stay at home in our pajamas and inject hot dogs with saline, we chose to get out there and help the world when it needed it the most. We put on our N95s and our protective equipment, and we bravely marched off to battle the scourge that is COVID-19. It is important that we remember how we acted during these tragic times, because one day, and I'm sure some of the veteran nurses in this room will agree, there will come a time in our careers which we feel the noise of the world is just too much. And in those anxious moments when nothing seems to be going right, remember, we are a different breed of nurse. We were forged in the fires of a global pandemic. Remember that when the world fell apart, we did not hide, we did not hesitate. We answered the call to action, and we made a difference. We did it. And finally, to all the people that we lost along the way, whether it be from COVID-19, rest in peace, Uncle Tony, or any other reason in which they were just taken from us too soon. Like my brother Chico up in heaven, who I know is smiling down on me right now. These are the grandparents, the parents, the siblings, the family and friends who are not here with us physically, but they have been right beside us the entire time. They were the sun's warmth that comforted us when we failed. They were the wind that pushed us forward when we felt we couldn't go any further. They were the light of the stars that shined a little brighter on us after a successful day. And maybe one day we'll see them again, whether it be in that last flash of light before we take our final breath, or perhaps in another life beyond this one. And they will tell us how proud they are of us. They will say, you did it. You spent your life making the world a better place. And we will turn to them and with a sincere heart, we will say, no, we did it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mario. That was really, really impactful and meaningful. I'm back here to present an award to a student that I had in my class and who I think very highly of, and his classmates do too. Pinning is one of the traditions celebrated at many nursing schools, but at San Francisco State, we also have another special tradition to honor the life of one of our former students, Philip Durf. Philip was a student in our nursing program in 1990 to 94, and he was known as an extraordinary asset to his fellow classmates. His commitment to public service touched many of the faculty and students, but sadly he passed away before completing the program. In his memory, it's become a tradition at San Francisco State School of Nursing that each graduating class chooses one classmate from amongst its ranks, one of their peers, to receive the honorary award aptly titled the Philip Durf Award. This year, I'm delighted and honored to announce that the class of 2021 has chosen Hanson U to receive this special award. Hanson? Okay, I'm not sorry yet. Hanson, you have earned the respect of your classmates and instructors through the 2 years you've been here. You are known as a class leader who knows how to build connections and is helpful to all. Your classmates describe you as dependable, hardworking, knowledgeable, and while in my class, you're always such an organizer for both your peers and me. As the communications and PR officer for our NSA Nursing Association, you kept our nursing students connected to each other and informed, fostering a sense of community, all while volunteering, interning, and being an excellent student. I know that I speak for both your classmates and the nursing faculty when I say we are very proud of you. Congratulations on receiving the 2021 Philip Durf Award.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say what an honor it is. There are so many in this class who are just as deserving of this award as well. And it just goes to show that the faculty did very right in picking their students for this program. With that being said, special shout out to my cohort. It has really been an honor, and I thank you for bringing out the best in me. If it were not for you all, I don't know how I would have gotten through this program. And with that being said, please find IT services elsewhere. Thank you so much, and it's my pleasure to introduce Napoleon Long, who will give the significance of the pin.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome all of you, family, friends, faculty, and especially the new nurses with us here today. I'm honored to have the opportunity to be up here on stage to give you a brief history of the nursing pin itself. The original nursing pin was created by Queen Victoria when she wanted to honor Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing, for her enormous contribution towards the nursing profession and to Great Britain. However, because Miss Nightingale was female, a knighting ceremony did not seem appropriate at the time. So, Queen Victoria chose instead to present Miss Nightingale with a brooch that represents her distinguished service. As was true with Queen Victoria's extravagant style, the brooch was quite elaborate and was the first nursing pin to ever be awarded for distinguished service. And it served to be a model for all nursing pins to come. The nursing school pins here in America also share a history that extends well over 100 years. The first School of Nursing pin in the United States was presented at the School of Nursing at Bellevue in New York, and it was first awarded to the graduating class of 1880. These nursing school pins are meant to symbolize the history, mission, and unique qualities for each school, and the nursing pin at San Francisco State that you're going to be receiving today is no different. First, looking at the pin, the color of gold and purple represents the color of the university, with gold symbolizing worthiness, the golden rule, and California, the golden state. Purple represents sovereignty and the dignity of the nursing profession. The setting sun over the Golden Gate Bridge is a symbol of the city of San Francisco itself, and in my opinion, one of the most beautiful cities in all the world. And San Francisco State as the city's university. The laurel wreath surrounding the logo represents honor and achievement. And finally, the pin represents the new nurses of San Francisco State itself and a person who has worked diligently to distinguish themselves to meet the healthcare needs of individuals, families, and the community. So to all my fellow new nursing graduates, wear your pin with pride because through all your hard work and dedication, you have truly earned it. I hope as you take the first steps into your nursing journey, especially during these interesting times, that you continue to carry with you our school's mission to commit yourselves to serving the many diverse populations here with a focus on social and environmental justice and health equality. You all will do amazing work. Thank you. I now like to pass it on to Professor Kathleen Shea for holding the MS for the hooding of the MSN.
Thank you, Napoleon. Okay, so good morning, everyone. The first MSN candidates will be students who had a first reader, Dr. Pam Guy, who unfortunately is not able to join us today. So these students will be hooded by their second reader. Okay, the first is Angela D. Harbor. Her field study was post-intensive care syndrome, analysis of effects in children with prolonged hospitalization. The second student wrote an analysis of interventions for management of irritable bowel syndrome in adolescents, Jennifer Plum. Next, interventions to assist African American women to recognize signs of peripartum depression. Amarachi Adana Unadam. H. Plastoff wrote an analysis of best practices to eliminate period poverty and promote dignified menstruation. Dan Schwartzler wrote Pediatric Stroke Patients with Congenital Heart Defects, an educational program for nurses. Denny Yanga wrote Community-Based Diabetes Prevention for Filipino Adolescents, Developing a Culturally Competent Educational Curriculum. Dr. Therese Stone
is the first reader for the next students, Ryan Leo Liu. He wrote an educational intervention addressing low health literacy in older adults with osteoarthritis. Lauren Rose Shiner, a nursing educational plan addressing communication with people with aphasia. Dr. Carrie Holshoe is first reader for the next group of students. Andrea Fassbinder, educating nurses on improving perinatal outcomes by promoting preconception care. Lauren DeMobil Foreman, a multicultural education plan for 8th grade girls to reduce teen pregnancy. Catherine Elaine Hall, analyzing the impact of certified nurse midwives anatomy on cesarean section rates. Wanda Lamb, analysis of cervical dilation at labor, admission, and cesarean birth rates. No. Justine Heloise Santos, must take an analysis of mental health disparities and recommendations for immigrant children. Dr. Therese Stone will be hooding for Dr. Esther Kim, who is not with us today. Dr. Therese is the second reader. Hannah Chong, an analysis of weight stigma and bias in healthcare. Dr. Wanwan Lee is the first reader for the next three students. Jonathan Korean, an analysis of African American cardiovascular outcomes versus their racial counterparts. Reina K. Urbino, the multimodal pain management educational program for opioid prescribed emergency department patients. Alpha Yi, an educational plan for increasing hypertensive therapy for Chinese patients. Madison Backlund,
educational plan for pediatric floor nursing.
I'm the first reader for the next group, so Larry Vitale is going to announce one.
Claudia Yin Ting Chan. Life at Home, a parental education program for children diagnosed with epilepsy. Sarah Eleanor Poplack. Next, Melissa Sierra Vargas, a family nurture intervention to strengthen bonding in the NICU.
Pivot, okay. The first reader, Dr. Stephanie Windle, is not available today. Dr. Wendland Lee will be presenting the hood. Leora Barber, Universal Free Exposure Prophylaxis Counseling for Women, an education plan for nurses. Sydney Ichigidad Chong, Social Isolation and Loneliness Among the Elderly, Education for Home Health Nurses. At this time, we will be pinning the BSN. At this time, we'll be pinning the BSN candidates. Dr. Larry Vitale will be reading the names.
Ernest Bong. Manda Kai. Mario Casillas. Eileen Cho. Shannon Coleman. Kevin Fenn. Kevin Floryman. Ramon Gabriel. Nicolas Gamboa. Ingrid Gold. Emily Harris. Napoleon won. Allison Sue. Charmaine Isidro. Alex Kawashima. Jim Johns. Shelley Kim. Sarah Kahn. Kimberly Kulusich. Min Kyung Kwan. Judy Law. Mindy Lay. Richney Lee. Russell Lockhead. Hannah Monsada. Nivrit Nijar. Ann Nguyen. Elaine Pham. Ariana Phillips. And my apologies. Trying to win. Vanessa Pineda. Better use my finger to keep place. Elaine Pham. Lee Saptang. Katya Schollenberg. Elizabeth Scribani. Emily Nicole Elbow Tucker. Erica Wall. Hanson Yu. Lauren Zaragoza. And now the ADN to BSN nursing candidates, City College of San Francisco. Iris Jasmine Barrera. Evelyn Veronica Cabrera. Julie Chan Mott. Jill Corbett. Zoying Dang. Maiden Tan Do. Yun Man Fan. Jenny Guan. Daniel Hall. Sean Lavelle. Annie Lay. Yana Lee. Abigail Luce, Annie Thon Mai, Poliana Kai McGuire, Rigzin Namgo, next, Nayasha Nayamzano, Christina Ostrom, Joan Rose Sembrano, Sean Sharosi, Kobe Tan, Victoria Tesfaye, Maria Wang, Kai Parker Barrios White, Ben Toshio Winchester, Vance Wu, Jo Chang Shu, and now the ADN to BSN nursing candidates, College of San Mateo. Fabian Jehu Garcia Arizipe, Gilberto Aron Chavez, Priscilla Rose de Natale, Jasmine Michelle Doctor, Serene Kamal Fahala, Brenda Gamboa, Yesenia Ambris Garibay, Manpreet Kaur Gill, Lee Heller, Amandeep Kaur, Daphne Q, Carullo Ru Italian, Kim Min Lu, Mary Queen de Jesus Laguna, Carlos Martinez, Julia Moraes, Pauline Therese O'Neill, Diana Ocampo, Melissa Nicole Primo, Corey Slavek, Edwin Frutti Soto, Tema Miley Kwakwa, Victoria Vieira, Kathleen Cosby Wynn, Belle Yee, Tenzin Yeshi, and now we will turn our attention to Shannon Coleman and Amarachi Nodim for the recital of the nursing pledge.
All right, graduates, why don't we stand for the nursing pledge? We're going to say this all together in your program, or it should be on the screen. Okay. We have it on the screen? Okay. Well, then, let's do a repeat after me then, since we don't have it. Okay. I solemnly pledge myself
to the service of humanity and will endeavor to practice my profession with conscience and with dignity. All right, guys. I will endeavor to maintain and elevate the standard of nursing, both as a science and as an art. I devote myself to the healing, protection, and welfare of those committed to my care. I will advocate for my patients' physical, spiritual, and emotional well-being and hold them as a first priority.
I accept a duty to work for the importance of health in the communities in which I live and work. I will hold in confidence all personal matters committed to my keeping. I will act with compassion in ethical matters. I will refrain from any action which might be harmful to the quality of life or health of those I care for. Thank you.
Those were awesome. Amazing to sit there and stand here and watch all of that. Lots of COVID. That was your life. So the challenges of life as a nursing student during the pandemic are now behind you, and there are a world of possibilities ahead. So please keep in touch. Let us know where your nursing career takes you. It may not be what you're thinking it is today. So I urge you to join our Nursing Alumni Association, return for a graduate degree, and join us when you're ready to mentor the future nursing students. So when you walked across the stage today, each of you received a rose. As previous speakers mentioned, none of you made it to this stage by yourself today. There are many who helped you achieve your dream of becoming a nurse. So the rose is for you to give to someone who helped you on your journey. So congratulations to the next generation of healthcare leaders. I wish everyone a safe and healthy holiday season. Congratulations. If the graduates could just stay seated till the faculty exit, and then if the guests would please wait till the students graduate. Thank you very much, and again, congratulations.